You say somebody burned something out? And we are back. Thank you for sticking with us there. Quick reset, and we are good to go. So before I'm going to hand over to Apothene, who will do a little bit of analysis with the rest of the team that we have on comms here with us. Just discussed it a little bit, so there's a couple of interesting notes. We also, of course, have a little bit of ISK to give away, and we have certainly noticed that some of the harder questions is something that you guys can't grasp. So we're going to go for the easy stuff, make sure that we get to give this ISK away. It is my wonderful, beautiful, blonde, young assistant, Dwagon Omer, that will be contacting you very shortly if you have won. So make sure that you respond to accept your code. And the way to win 100 million ISK of EveBet credit, and there's 10 of these packages, you just have to put in the correct answer to the following question. So your answers to go in the Twitch stream, please. What is the name of the Kaldari Titan? That's again, what is the name of the Kaldari Titan? Start throwing your answers in, and Dwagon will pick you up if you've given the correct answer, and you can put those bets on EveBet straight away. We have betting enabled on the matches tonight, so if you're quick enough, God, really, you habit, you're such a bad person. You can actually, if you're quick enough, put this ISK on the matches that are still going tonight. And with that, Mr. Apothene, are you ready to grill these people?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
My nerd, that was such an incredible match. If the Maulus had stayed within range of the Vindy there at the end, it would have died, and it would have meant that Warlords would have in fact won the match, but they did not. VOLTA won. Salman, you were telling us in the break between the commentators' analysis a few piloting errors you saw. Would you like to go into those?
Yeah, sure. I saw the Bifrost on the VOLTA team was playing very aggressively, and he almost got tackled by the Vindy about 3 times during the match. And I think the points were very close at the end. I think VOLTA won just by 2 points. So if VOLTA had lost any ships, they would have lost the match. So it was, you can see how even a small mistake can lead to the match outcome being completely different.
Yeah, I mean, Chesser, you're an ex-Warlord pilot. I mean, you watched your guys just narrowly lose that match. Do you think there was anything that they could have done to turn it around? Or do you think that the setups against each other really put them at a disadvantage?
I think that VOLTA's setup had a lot of alpha and sustained DPS, so in the beginning, I think dropping a few ships was kind of to be expected when you're dealing with a lightly tanked Blackbird and also a frigate that RLMLs can apply really well to. I think that what they were given after the initial burn-in, which was just a Crew of Indy Guardian, I think they played pretty well. They still managed to kill 2 Onyx with some good coordination between the Crewer and the Vindicator, being able to just catch each Onyx one by one. I mean, it was really close. Just the Crewer couldn't the Guardian or the Crewer couldn't live long enough to keep the Vindy able to catch one other thing. So, I mean, all in all, really good play, fairly balanced teams on both sides. So that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Gursky, what did you think of the Guardian piloting?
It was pretty good until he burned his plot mod, I guess. He kept reps on, he had pre-reps on both crewers and kept them up, so it was pretty good. But like I said, he managed to burn his prop mod. It wasn't the best of things.
Yeah. Now, one of the questions we've been from the chat channel is for Mr. CCP Fozzie, if you're still there, buddy.
Yep.
So they were asking about what the next round of module Terracide is. Now, this is an awesome process that has been coming through, but you've got another massive round coming through really soon, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got, we're touching 500 modules, I think, around that in total next Tuesday. So that's coming up very soon, and all of that is on Sissy now, so this match is being played with the new module stats.
Awesome. So, Elise, you were commentating that match. We had 2 Onyxes. Now, Onyxes have also had their modules changed recently. We've got these mega long scrans. Now, you're a tournament veteran. How are these going to affect Hicks in the tournament meta, both AT and NT?
Hictors have always been in a really weird place in the Alliance tournament because they do very little damage. They're very, very tanky, and all they offer essentially before the focus point changes is that they'd be very tanky, and there were a lot of points for that tank. But now you can make them essentially a control team, and you can put a little bit of more than a little bit of damage, as we saw from the VOLTA team. So, I mean, we know how favorable the Balgorn is. This offers like a very similar sort of theme to setups that a Balgorn does. It's just long-range control. Vulnerable to dams, obviously, but being able to shut off an MWD at 37 kilometers is huge.
Now, looking at the team lists, Rain, I'm really interested to hear your input on what teams you'd like to see these two bring out next. Those of you who want to see the team names, you can check it out at eve-nt.uk/team-profiles/ somebody, I'm sure, will link that in the chat for me, but go there, see what teams these guys can bring out. Remember, if a team has one with a given setup, they cannot use that setup again. So the kiting setup, the double onyx served Bifrost Smallest team, cannot be brought again by Team VOLTA. But Rain, what teams do you want to see next? Okay, so we may have lost Rain.
Oh my
Never
gosh,
mind,
I was using...
I'm sure.
I'm so sorry. So, I really want to see Warlords bring their Scorpion Navy issues, because I've heard great things about that, but I actually haven't seen it.
They are the best ship in the tournament meta.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep hearing, but I haven't seen them in action, so I kind of want to see them in action.
Fantastic. So it looks like the next teams are just about getting ready. So guys, let's hear predictions, starting with Mr. Fozzie.
Oh, I think it's cheating knowing the setups, but without that information, I would say Warlords for this one. I think they're going to take this next match.
Larrikin?
I think VOLTA is going to make this 2-0.
Sully?
I think Warlords will take this one, but it'll be very close.
Chesser?
Are you really asking me?
Yeah, I mean, you lost the first round.
Oh my
says,
god!
VOLTA
Warlords are going to win this. They're just building
you say so.
anticipation.
Elise?
I think like a team of Warlords caliber won't drop 2 matches in a row, so I'm pretty sure they're going to win this match.
Gorski?
I think VOLTA's gonna make Pharaoh great again.
Rain?
VOLTA.
And Suetonia?
I'm gonna go with Warlords, but I think it's gonna be really close.
Awesome. Let's head off to the next casters, who I've lost my sheet. They're going to be...
Rain and
suspense.
Sully.
Rain and Sully. Thank you, just to bring it up. Thanks, Nash. Rain and Sully, take it away.
Hi.
You go ahead, sir.
Okay, so I'm Rain, and I'll be introducing the VOLTA team. They have 2 Typhoon Fleet issues, a Hyena, and 2 Inquisitors.
I'm introducing the Warlords team. They've got a Damnation and a Neros, 2 Confessors, and a Daredevil. What the warping range is, Rain?
So, the VOLTA team warped in all together at 50. Actually, both teams warped in at 50, and they're exactly like opposite sides of the arena from each other, so they're 100 off.
Yeah, the Daredevil came in a bit closer, actually. He's 30 kilometers off the sensor, so he's a bit closer. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what he does. And the match is underway.
Yeah, but go on.
Okay.
I was gonna say it'll be really interesting to see the Daredevil fly, because it's such a fun frigate to fly, but you got to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I mean, if they commit too early with that Daredevil, it's going to die. But you know, those 90% webs are just going to be very powerful in this kind of format to pin something down.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at the moment, the VOLTA team is just firing missiles at range. They're not actually. Oh, well, actually, they're not even firing missiles. They're just staying back at range. I believe the rapid heavy missile fit and trying to preserve those shots.
Yeah, I don't really see. They're slowly moving in. The Typhoons are slowly moving in.
Yeah, I think the VOLTA team, because they're already at a 1-0 advantage in the series, I think they're playing cautiously. They want to preserve that advantage. Looks like they're just firing on the Daredevil now. Damages have appeared on the Daredevil.
Yep, and he does have armor rep bots, so he should be good, but There's not really much going on at the start.
Yeah, they're rapid heavy missile fit. They're definitely saving their shots. There's a target painter coming from the hyena of the Volta team, who's just taken some shield damage.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need that hyena, because otherwise they're not going to be able to apply damage. And the Inquisitors have got it, even though they're not going to do much for his shield.
Yeah, I mean, looks like they're swapping to the Aneros of the Warlords team. Typhoon has just been tackled by the Damnation. I believe this Aneros is half armor. He's dropping quickly.
Yeah, definitely. At least
he's repping though, so I'm assuming he's double rep fit. He's being painted and is in 20% armor right now. Let's see if he can survive.
Yeah, the Warlords team has to either save their Logi or take out someone from the other team. Otherwise, they're just going to lose the ship and not get anything from it.
Yeah, the Aneros is just dipped into hull. He is repping. He's repping half his armor per cycle, but it doesn't seem like... Well, it looks like it's just enough. The question is, will he run out of reps before the Tri-team hits reload?
I don't know. He's in structure already.
Yeah, he's still dropping. I mean, I think it's really going to matter whether or not when these TFIs hit reload, because then he'll be able to tank fine. Whereas it looks like on the Volta team, damage is minimal at the moment. The Aneros just took a big hit.
Yeah, they're attacking the Inquisitor. They're attacking the Inquisitor Hyena, and I see the Typhoon taking some damage, so they're really splitting their DPS.
Yeah, but I mean, if they trade an Inquisitor for the Aneros, they'll be in a pretty good position. I think they've hit reload on the Typhoon fleet, because the Aneros is recovered. He's almost at full armor now. So we've got 30 seconds of low DPS coming from the TFIs.
Yeah, and if you look, there's like one Confessor just going after these poor Inquisitors.
Yeah, I mean, the Inquisitors don't tank much again once these Tech 3Ds get on top of them. But, you know, they don't need to tank much. I mean, once the Aneros goes down, those Tech 3Ds are going to fall pretty quickly to the Typhoon fleets. And the Damnation is going to struggle to kill 2 Typhoon fleets by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, this Aneros, he's being neutered by the Typhoon fleet, and he's not being
gone.
He's gone. Yep, deleted, traded for an Inquisitor. That is
Wow.
not good for the Warlords team.
Second Inquisitor already taking damage now too.
Yeah, but I mean, the Daredevil's taking damage, and without the Aneros being alive, this Daredevil's going to drop very quickly. He's in hull, and he's gone as well. So, I mean, these Confessors might survive a bit longer, but, you know, I think they're really going to struggle. Or maybe not. Both Confessors are in half armor already.
Yeah,
it
now
looks
they're
like they were in the wrong mode, but it looks like Brainstraw was in the propulsion mode, a common mistake, and died very, very quickly.
This other Confessor's right on top of the Typhoon.
Yep, so I mean,
and he's gone.
Yep, and now it's just a Damnation versus 2 TFIs, a Hyena and an Inquisitor.
It's not just the Damnation, which I don't think he can recover this at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to struggle applying DPS to the Inquisitor, who is actually pulled range. The Inquisitor is kiting at range, and he's just going to come in when he needs to get reps. But this Damnation's dropping pretty quickly. I mean, it's only 50% armor.
Yeah, he's sitting right on top of this Typhoon, and he has like tons of EC drones on him.
Yeah, so it might not be able to lot. I mean, he's in 20% armor right now. He's initiated self-destruct, but, you know, I'm pretty sure he's going to die before then, unless if he gets a timely reload of the Rapid Heavies. But, this looks like Volta are 2-0ing Warlords of the Deep so far, unless this Inquisitor.
Holy cow.
Yep, I think this is a true underdog story, actually. I don't think many people expected them to come out this strong this early.
No, not at all. I'm pretty sure most of the analysts said that they wanted Warlords to win.
Yeah, I mean, Cheza I know will be particularly disappointed, but, you know, Cheza is often quite wrong in matters of PvP.
I mean, being a lower tier pilot is often
is,
gives you wrong opinions, so...
He does think quite highly of himself. I mean, the Damnation's in half armor, and half hull, sorry, and it's just, obviously the TFIs have just hit reload right now.
Yeah.
I'm hearing things in local about ECM drones. I think it might be the Volta guys bragging about the ECM drones, and the Damnation's now dropping even faster.
Yep.
And I think the match is over.
Alright, let's send it back to Apothmy.
The new high-performance RIG 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The RIG 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise-canceling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new RIG 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
Warlords
And we're
going
back after
even?
these breaks. Thank you, Apoth. We've got some prizes to give away before we go to you. This is not all about you, you know. Oh, sheesh. That's, put this guy on the payroll, pay him the most, and, just takes over everything. God. Listen, before we go back to Apoth real quick, I'm going to give you another chance to win a little bit of monies. So, for your next question, for a little bit of EveBet credits, which you can spend tonight on possibly the last match if VOLTA smashes through the next one as well. I would really like him not to, so we have a little bit showtime tonight. I'm gonna throw out another question for you. You can chuck the answer in the Twitch channel. The question will be: what is the official start date of FanFest 2016? So what is the official start date of FanFest 2016? Chuck your answers in the Twitch channel, and Dwygon Armor will pick them up for you if you're one of the first 10 correct answers. And now I'm going to hand it back to Apoth, who is rearing to go.
Yeah, man, I was ready with a really double joke of Warlords plumbing the depths of lower tier piloting. But, I mean, Sully, you were commentating that match. Like, there was nothing happening for a while, then suddenly Warlords just kind of all died at once. What the hell happened? Those T3 Decis, they just were insta-bapped. What the hell was going on?
I think that was a great display of some low-level piloting. I'm pretty sure one of the tech 3Ds was in the wrong mode. One of them was in prop mode and almost evaporated in like 2 seconds or so, and the other one survived quite a bit longer. So I think there's words that Cheza might have to offer to the pilot, the first Confessor, and try to help him improve on his piloting skills. Maybe a lesson, a one-to-one private lesson with Cheza.
Suetonia, Eve is easy, right? I'd love to ask you about, we see these rapid heavy missile teams throughout this season, and also before we had the season in the preseason games. Why do we see the Vigils and the Hyenas so commonly paired with them for players that might not be familiar with the composition?
Well, the high individuals have a huge bonus to target painters, which means that a lot of the support ships, like the logistics, which it has a very low sig for a cruiser, and destroyers take full damage from heavy missiles. And it just means that those Typhoon fleet issues are applying, absolutely max DPS with the rapid heavies.
Now, in an admittedly uncommon position for the Warlords guys, unless when they used to face PL, of course, they're really behind in the series. They're coming back. They've got to win the next game. How do teams in the Alliance Support and EVNT, how do you psychologically build yourself back up to win from a massive setback? And how do you pick your comps? How do you keep motivated? How do you really keep from letting the nerves get to you?
Well, I'd say like
Sorry, I didn't realize this was posed to me. You know, a lot of times when you're behind like this, there's two times when you're feeling. I mean, there's two situations where this can occur. The first is where you're legitimately behind and you're feeling like the pressure. Another situation is in this format, you know, you're only given so many comps, and you can put your best comps first, or you can put your best comps last, and you know where you stand, and you have a strategy built into that. So while some teams like to fly their best comps the first 1, 2, maybe even the third match, other teams like to maybe not fly their best comps as early, hoping that maybe they can squeak out a win where they have other comps where they know to be much stronger, where they're almost guaranteed wins later in the match. So that's why I really like EVNT, and that's why I think it adds another layer of depth that maybe isn't spoken a lot about here. But in an Alliance tournament setup, yeah, being 0-2 is scary. But in EVNT, 0-2 just means that your enemies now have a lot less to choose from as far as what comps they could bring. And because many of the comps that VOLTA has fielded so far are very, very strong, it may leave openings in the last little bit of comps that they have for weaknesses that Warlords may be able to exploit.
Okay, so going on from that, Elise, looking at the Warlords setups, they've still got all 5 of their setups they can bring because they haven't won any matches yet. VOLTA, they've won with 2, so they've only got 3 left. If you're Warlords and you're looking at this match, okay, we need to win this match, what comp do you bring?
That's a good question. We have to first look at what VOLTA have left. They've got a Sleipnir rush team, which we've seen a lot, not only in the Alliance tournament, but in EVNT. So it's like double Sleipnir, double Swiffle, Jaguar. It's got no scimitars or anything, so it's just max face melting DPS. They've also got it's quite beautiful. Oh, you're right. Sorry, I'm totally dumb. I can't read. It's a Sleipnir double Swiffle scimitar, so it's face kind of burning DPS, not quite melting, but it's face singeing at least. And it's a very common archetype that we see. It's a really good comfort pick as well. They've also got a Claymore Curse double Jackdaw Kieran setup, which is a little bit more kitey, a little bit more control-y. It seems fairly weak, to me at least. And the last team VOLTA has is an Astarte. It's essentially a Calente rush team with an Astarte, Oneros, double Confessor, Kruer. And as you mentioned, Warlords have basically the entire arsenal left. So they've got a Vindicator Core team that we saw before, which looks very, very strong when it doesn't get super kited. I'd say that Vindicator team can pair up perfectly well against any 3 that VOLTA have left. The Damnation team, I wasn't very impressed by that we saw. I have a feeling that's probably why we saw it. And then we've got I'm sure your favorite Scorpion team left, which is good.
Well, it is the best team, right?
Yeah, obvi. So that's a good setup. And then Warlords have their own sort of Galente control rush team with an Astarte double Phobos. It's kind of both. It's a hybrid between a control team and a rush team, which is very, very strong against everything that VOLTA have left. So I don't know. I throw the Vindicator out there. That's my personal favorite if I'm Warlords right now. And I think I absolutely
did lose in the first match.
Yeah, they lost in the first match, but they came up against a setup that kind of, I don't want to say hard countered it, but
hypothetically
well.
hypothetically that setup was a very strong hard counter. You have 2 40k scrams, you have RLML missiles, and there's no way that a Vindicator should be able to catch an Onyx or
and it caught 2 Onyxes, so they fly it very, very well.
Yeah, because of some good Kruer webs, but again, you know, like we were, I think, analyzing in the first match, rapid light missiles are very good at applying to light ships, so, you know, that's kind of a situation.
Okay, so Gorski, looking at how the meta of EVNT Colliders has developed, how it's moved on through module changes, through ship rebalancing, through the popularity of Hicks that we're seeing today, looking at some of the changes and hints that we've seen coming through from Fozzie and Rise and all the guys in the dev team, what do you think is the next big thing in terms of ship changes that's really going to affect the tournament meta, if anything, that we've seen so far?
Well, right now in Sissy, we already had like SIBO ECCM changes, so that makes ECM setups a little bit like less powerful, I guess. But other than that, like I'm not really sure.
Do you think that the SIBO ECM changes would mean that we might be able to relook at allowing scripted damps and the use of racial jammers?
Like in this 5-man format, maybe. I'm not really sure, because like linked damps are still going to be like super OP. So like I'm unsure. I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't allow it.
Okay. Do you have a favorite team from Warlords of the Deep that you'd like to see?
Well, they already brought out the Foon Fleet issue, so I guess I can do some like basic bitch Sleipnir team or something that works.
Okay. Wow. Great. Okay, so moving on. Let's go to Larrikin. You joined CCP recently, and you've got to see the EVE tournaments from the other side. You know, before you were a player, now you're a CCP member. How do you feel like the tournament scene has developed now that you've seen it? Firstly, from seeing it outside as a player, and then when you move to CCP now as a developer working there, how do you feel the tournament has progressed in that time period?
I think it's very interesting to sort of see the transition, especially as a developer. But I do think the tournament scene's only gotten stronger and stronger, and the level of play has gotten it like just keeps on getting ratcheted up. Like we've got two incredibly powerful or competent teams playing right now, and I am just super impressed with their piloting skills. I'm also really impressed with the amount of private tournaments, basically like EVNT and a bunch of others that are out there that are sort of popping up, and people are running in and having a go at it. So yeah.
Awesome. Nash, if I can briefly bring you back onto the show, why don't you tell us a little bit about the next EVNT meetup and the next EVNT Fight Club?
Well then, the next EVNT meetup is something that I can't tell you anything about, because the truth is there's been no plans just yet. It's slightly on hold because I'm hoping to catch up with CCP Guard next week and discuss a couple of things and items and availability of CCPers, etc., to make sure that I can put a decent offer out for the next Nottingham meet. We do, however, have a meet coming up in Cardiff in June, so that will be before the EVNT Nottingham, and the details will be up on the website this week. So if you live in the Cardiff region, or you're happy to travel to Cardiff for a pub meet, please do so. It's run by Takeda Kashana. Should be a nice chilled out day. It's a very family friendly setup as well, so I'll be bringing the kids. A couple of my friends are bringing their kids, so it should be a pretty chilled out, relaxed day with a couple of pots of beer for the boys.
It does require going to Wales, though.
It does require going to Wales, but I hear they have nice sheep and things like that, so I've never been, so I'll let you know after June. For EVNT Nottingham, we'll have details available soon, but again, like I said, we've got to wait for a little bit of news from CCP to make sure that we can put a decent offer together. Obviously, we have BRJ and Sutonia who will be putting up, they'll be voluntold to sort out a tournament, so we'll definitely bring that back, as it's definitely the most bit of content that we have. And I'd like to try and twist CCP's arm to bring Valkyrie back as well, which is ever popular. In terms of Fight Club, you, my good friend, are in an equal position to talk about Fight Club as much as possible, heading up that league together with Bay. So next match actually is the end of this month. Yeah, so we've got 8 teams still left in the Fight Club league, and the next match is on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. Am I saying that right? I better check my notes, huh?
Yes, it is.
Ah, thank
Although
you.
I
Oh,
unfortunately won't be there. It's the one I can't make.
I know, yes. So we are looking to hopefully maybe swap places. So obviously normally we have Sir Squeebles doing the Collide show, and we normally have yourself, your wonderful self, doing the Fight Club show. But hopefully with a bit of luck we're going to swap them around. So you obviously take the Collides this time, and with a bit of luck Sir Squeebles is available to take your show next time.
Okay, so let's move on to the next match. Match number 3, where VOLTA have the chance to take the series with a 3-0. Warlords really need to bring it back. The casters are going to be Larrikin and Gorski. But just before we go, let's get a round of predictions in, starting with CCP Fozzy.
I'm gonna have to go with the Volta guys on this one. I've seen the ships on the field, and they're using my favorite tournament ship.
Okay, Larkin?
I think Warlords is take this match fairly handily.
Sully?
I think Warlords might take this one back, and it's going to be a very interesting match.
Do I even have to ask, Chester?
We're on the march to glorious salvation from here on in.
Elise?
I think Warlords are gonna. They've got Volta right where they want them, so they're gonna win this match.
Gorski?
I think the high altitude training and fair paid off for Volta. They're gonna win.
Rain?
Warlords, definitely.
Last but not least, Suetonia. Oh god,
Yes.
stop!
Stop!
There you go.
Go back to
Okay,
Mike.
Larkin, Gorski, take it away.
So hello, I'm here with Larkin, I'm Gorsikar, and we have Volta up against Hydra in the last match, probably. So we have Hydra bringing the same setups they brought in the first match with the Vindicator, Blackbird, Guardian, and 2 Crewers. So tell me about the Volta setup, Larkin.
Gorski, you picked this like a dirty nose. Volta has brought the Slipner, Mimitar Rush, so Slipnir, 2 Sveeples, Jaguar, and a Scimitar. Match is starting in exactly now, so I'm very keen to see what's going to happen here. It's going to be very interesting to see if Volta can actually hold back. Their teams are about 70 kilometers apart here. They need to hold back, try and take down those Curors, and not get caught by that Vindicator.
Yeah, exactly. They have to watch out so don't get screened by the Crewers or tackled by the Vindicator, and meanwhile they have to get on the Logi or either kill a Crewer. So it's going to be a good amount of piloting skill needed to win this match.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Warlords showing some tournament I'm not very good at words today. But anyway, let's just say they're flying the ships very well. They are not rushing in. They're holding back, making Volta come towards them.
Yeah, they're just chilling out there with armor bots out and just waiting for someone to make the first move here and see take advantage from that.
We are seeing absolutely no damage applied to anyone at this stage. However, I'm sure that will change very quickly. Please.
Well, the problem is here, Volta can't really just ram into them because they're gonna die to Vindicator if they do. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do here.
Yeah, I really thought. I think Volta hoped that Warlords would sort of spread out a little bit, maybe push their Vindicator forward, and they could try and get around that Vindicator, get into the back line, murder the Guardian, obviously, or the Blackbird, or some of the Curos. But that's just not happening. Warlords are staying really nice and tight here. I mean, the Guardians pulled back a little bit, and you see the Curos out the front there screening exactly like Gorski called it. Meanwhile, Volta don't really have an answer for that yet. I mean, they're going to have to go in, or someone's going to have to go in sometime, I guess.
Yeah, but I think it's the bad call to go in now. You have to catch the Guardian pretty much, otherwise you're gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you think about a rush on one of these Curos? You see Brainstorm and Alton Delacourt out here in front doing the screening thing, but at the same time, doing that screening thing makes them vulnerable. I mean, we see a little bit of damage here on Brainstorm, probably just some long-range autocannon fire or artillery fire.
They're using autocannons on the Slipners.
It is autocannons, there you go.
So, yeah, the Vindicator is still, they're staying in, a tight little battle ball, so even if it looks like the Crew is a bit further away, the Vindicator's gonna get on you, instantly.
Oh, yeah, I mean, by screening, I mean, this is 10 kilometers. That's not a place that you want to be in this, or anything, really, 10 kilometers within a Vindicator, so...
yeah, that's, in the world of hurt if you go that close. It'd be cool here, if the Vindicator micro jump driving is gotten someone. Just to say that, I think they're approaching each other now.
Yeah, we're seeing the Sveeple being put out, Thelanor or something, coming out ahead as well as basically
Sveeple
the Volta team's coming in.
Sveeple slowed down to 200 MS now, Ferox in the Sveeple. And the Vindicator is closing in now, so yeah.
And we're seeing a little bit more damage on the second Cura, piloted by Alton Delacourt. but nothing that's really going to worry him at this stage.
Listen, now we have to see if like the Logic can keep up a Sweeple with like the Vindicator at 0 on him. Usually, like you can't really kill a linked Sweeple with the Logi on him, no matter what. So, but we'll see.
Meanwhile, that Vindicator has a hard tackle on the Jaguar piloted by Mystical Might, but hasn't bothered to put any damage on him. Alton Delacord in the Curo going down to half armor, but the Guardian, Planet 6 flying the Guardian has him repped. No problems at all.
So look at the speeds here, like every single VOLTA ship now is under 500 ms, so they're pretty good controlled. And as I say that, like Starfleet appears to have broken out and is burning again.
Which is good.
It's good for him, but I don't know, like he's still like super far away. He's in the Scimitar as well, so...
Yeah, I really think that I would be very surprised if Warlords couldn't just alpha straight through the reps the Starfleet can potentially provide.
So we have Annie Graff in the Sleipnir. He's like actually really close to the Guardian right now, so we'll see if he manages to get a tackle on. But at the same time, like he's jammed by the Blackbird, I think, so we'll never know if he can target anything or not.
Yeah, that Blackbird really does show a center in any plans that VOLTA might try and come here. I mean, if they get in and get a nice tackle on that Guardian, focus jams from the Blackbird can probably drop that off so they can get out.
And the Sweeple isn't on. The Sweeple is down for VOLTA.
Bang! Did you see what killed that Sweeper? Was that the Vindicator that just decided? Just decided to delete him from the field.
Yeah, Vindicator's like pretty far away and got perfect tracking on him with drones and everything, so he died pretty fast.
Yeah,
and the Guardian is taking fire now.
He's taking damage, but not enough to really matter. I mean, the Sleipnir can't, like the Jaguar's going in for a hard tackle now, but the Sleipnir can't really get in close enough to apply decent damage to him. Instead, it looks like VOLTA has switched over to trying to knock down a Curo, while the Guardian is a little bit preoccupied with keeping himself alive.
So the Jaguar of Mystical might manage to get a tackle on the Guardian, so we'll see if he manages to tank the Sleipnir with his dual reps. I'm pretty unsure he managed to do that, but at the same time, like the Sleipnir is perfectly controlled by the Cruors.
And Cable Utah has taken a ton of damage there from the Vindicator. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive this close encounter, but he's getting plenty of reps there from Starfleet Commander.
Yeah, right now it looks like it's only the Jaguar shooting the Guardian, and it's not going to be enough to break him.
Not even close. So we have 5 minutes remaining, probably closer to 4 minutes remaining right now. Looks like Warlords is in a fairly commanding position here. They've got basically the field positioning and everything else that they want. One ship down to from VOLTA already, and it looks wow,
yeah.
Utah.
Look at Ball and the Vindicator. It's like at 0 MS, just getting perfect hits on the Sweeple. And the Sweeple is down.
That's I mean, obviously that's terrible in a 5-ship format to lose one of your 5 ships or any amount of ships.
Yeah, like sort of look at the Vindicator now. He's gonna get on the Sleipnir, and that's probably gonna be it.
Yeah, I think so. But that also just means there's more webs to put on less concentrated ships.
Oh, wow!
Melted. He just died. Was that the Vindicator?
Yeah, like the Vindicator. Dual webs on the Vindicator, you're not getting anywhere. It's like instant kills.
That's crazy. So I'm going to call it now and say Starfleet Commander probably survives this, but Annie Gardet in the Sleipnir is not having a very pleasant time right now. Does have a Vindicator, as Elise called it, sitting on his face.
I'd say like this was a good call by Hydra. Like I think they predicted that VOLTA's gonna bring like the setup they're most confident in and bring it like encounter it with the Vindicator.
And you predicted too, Gorski. Don't sell yourself short there, mate.
It is like the most like everyone can fly like a standard Minotaur rush. It's the basic setup.
Yes, I believe you called it basic something. Let's not talk about that. Annie taking a whole chunk of damage there from the Vindicator. In fact, the rest of the team... Oh, wait, I
think you boundary violated.
He did. 07 Starfleet Commander, I guess he just wanted to prove me wrong. And Annie got out in the Sleipnir going down. He's deep into hull now. Vindicator, piloted by Bally Tech or something. Finish him off. Good fight. Good fight, Warlords,
Good fight.
And we'll pass it back to the studio.
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise cancelling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
We are back with the Warlords convincingly snatching a win when they absolutely needed to, bringing it back to 2-1. They ought to win 2 more games before they win. VOLTA only need to bring one. Now, Elise, we had 2 rush comps there at the beginning, but neither of them rushed in. Why would teams bring rush comps and not just go for it straight away?
So the team that the Warlords team fielded, which was the Vindicator Core, it's a hybrid archetype. It's one of my favorite archetypes of all things that you can bring. It's basically a Galente control, so it's like a rush team and a control team in one. It's incredibly strong. It's like a next level sort of archetype. While the VOLTA team just took a rush team. Like they have very little control, a little bit on the sweeples, but not too much. And both teams recognize that the first guys to go in will get screened off and picked apart. So they're just kind of posturing, hoping one would get a little bit antsy and rush in and make that critical mistake. And ice water in the veins. Warlords in the corner, in the hole, just sat there and waited for their moment, and they just took it and crushed.
Well,
It
it's also
was
it's
pretty
also easy
crushing.
to take it when your ability to control the field is kind of brought forward when you have the newts, the jams, and the webs, which make it when like the great thing about a control team versus a rush setup, which you see here, is the rush setup. Normally, they can use their speed and mobility to dart in and out to maybe like pick off something to make a play. But in this setup, once you go in, that's it. You're going to be hard tackled. You're going to be like brought down. And if you didn't get the ships you wanted tackled, or if you're not in range to do what you wanted, which was Logi trade, they wanted the Logi trade. It's going to be a difficult position to try to fight out of if you get like bogged down and caught up and screened off, which is exactly what happened.
Silman, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Cruer as a tournament ship, because it's not an assault frigate with that bonus to MWD Sigbloom. It doesn't have a resist bonus. And pirate frigates, for all the brilliance they have, the high DPS, the high agility, they are not known for their tankiness and their survivability. Why have the Cruers been so strong and suchly chosen in this Vindy setup?
I think it's because of the contrast with the Vindicator and the Blackbird. The Vindicator is obviously a very high DPS, or the highest DPS battleship, and it's got a very good application. But it lacks, once it gets tackled by an assault frigate or a Tech 3D, it can't get itself unstuck. Unless we can kill the tackling ship, which isn't always the case, as is against the sweeper, for example. But with the crew, those crews were all nuke fit. They had no guns, and they had, I assume, at least one web. And they were just a great way of, tackling the sweepers, keeping them away from the Vindicator until the Vindy wants to deal with them. And they can also be used against enemy logistics ship to turn reps off, and allow the Vindy to just blast through a sweeper. Also, the Blackbird as well in that comp is quite powerful because it could fulfill the same sort of role but at range. So even though pirate frigates aren't very good in the tournament, I think in combination with a very, very high DPS battleship, they can be very effective.
Nash, please go ahead with some more Cody goodness.
Oh, thank you very much. Yep, you're so eager. I love it. It's great. I have a few more codes to give away, so real quick one for you, as it is CSM season, and I do hope you all stick a vote in. We have a couple of CSM members on staff tonight. We have obviously the wonderful Mr. Gorski Carr. You need to make sure you throw this man a vote. We have the ever wonderful Apophany as well, which you need to make sure you chuck a vote for, but most importantly, you need to make sure you vote for myself. Nash Cadaver, number 1, okay? Real quick, we have another couple of codes for you to give away. So 10 sets of 100 million ISK bet credit, which you can stick on match 4, which has just become live. So it's been linked in the Twitch channel. You can stick bets on the 4th match coming up very shortly. The question for you to answer is the following. How many members make up the full Council of Stellar Management? So, how many members make up the full Council of Stellar Management? So, please check your answers in the Twitch chat, and Dwygon Armor will pick this up. With that, Apoth, you can have it back.
Awesome, the spaceships. Now, we can't see that Vindy team again from Warlords of the Deep. So Rain, I'd love to hear what setup, now that we've had a few matches, what setup are you in the mood for? What setup do you think that either team should bring next to seal out the match or keep the Warlords comeback rolling?
I still want to see the Scorpions. I really want to see those Scorpions, so I'm still going to stick with that one.
Fantastic. However, I now want to ask Mr. Larkin, what do you think? What's your favourite team comp? What style of comps do you personally prefer to fly and watch?
I'm just not a very complicated man, Apophany, and if I have any choice in the matter, it's in your face, high damage, that sort of setup, and yeah.
So you're thinking Astarte Phobos?
I mean, that might be my favorite setup. I'm not saying it's probably gonna win though.
Dude, you gotta believe hard.
That's true, my friend. That is true. But I'm actually with Rain on this one. I think it's probably the Scorpion Navy setup. I think that's a super powerful setup. I'm very keen to see how it gets used. And yeah.
I know that Sueternia keeps logs of this. I can't remember where they're posted, but he keeps amazing stats on how many each type of ship has been built up, which ships have been banned, all that good stuff. We'll see if we can get that information out to you guys into the chat at some point. I'm not even sure if he still does it. I might be told off for bringing that up. But,
can we get some graph on maybe?
I don't know. Is CCP Quan on? Is RT on call tonight?
Oh no, Sueternia. I mean, you just told me Sueternia's all these stats, man. Can he generate us some graph porn?
We'll have to see if we can get that going soon this week. Okay, so Elise, what are your thoughts on the matches we've seen so far? Have you seen any significant differences stylistically between the two teams, or are they just both really crazy, amazing, super execution top tier teams?
They're top tier teams. I think Warlords kind of, I don't want to say they phoned it in, but they took intentionally weaker setups in the beginning. Well, not necessarily weaker. I think they... It's hard to describe this in a way that doesn't sound offensive or anything like that, but they kind of have a game plan, and their game plan is to force VOLTA into taking their weakest teams. So they predicted that VOLTA would front load their teams with the strongest ones, and they just took things that they were just comfortable in and stuff like that. And I think they're in the perfect position now. I think the strongest team they had was this Vindicator team, and I think their Scorpion Navy issue team will absolutely crush everything else that VOLTA has. And so they've got so many teams left in the bag, they just crush what VOLTA have left.
So what you're saying is Chester was right all along?
Oh, I mean, it's sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'll just say that.
Wow, Chester, do you have a response?
You know what? I'll just let his final statements be the closing. I don't need to say anything. We'll just watch.
Okay, so let's
Like
get
I
ready
said,
for the
onward
next
to
match.
victory.
We've got a team. We form VOLTA. They need to just have one more match win to win because they are up 2-1. Warlords of the Deep need to win the next 2 matches straight if they want to win. Now, Nash, why don't you tell us a little bit about what these teams are actually fighting for? What are the prizes for EVE NT Collides?
We have some amazing prizes for this league, actually. We have a very good relationship with CCP, and my personal hero, Mr. CCP Guard, has managed to organize for us 150 unique skins, which are actually available on CC this very minute. So for the people that want to go and check them out in game, you got to be on CC, but they will be available for the people that have participated in this particular league. So we'll have to have a little look and see what we do for the next season. We have some really big plans, which we will have full proposals ready to go to CCP very soon. And we'll see what we can get out of next season. But for this season, indeed, we have Typhoon skills. So obviously the most popular tournament ship around at the moment, the Typhoon. We've got 150 unique skins from the Independent Gaming Commission. Beautiful little skin. We've got some pictures on our website as well. I highly recommend you go and check them out. Definitely, obviously I'm biased, but I would say the nicest looking skin in the game right now.
And of
It's
course,
Red
all
Wings.
staff
We'll
members
second that.
copy,
We'll
right?
second that.
All staff members get 1 or 2?
I wish. I don't actually get to hold them or see them at any point. So, but you know, obviously, all these teams have been colluded into participating in this league, and I'll make sure that I get my 25% from all the teams. That is a joke.
Sounds like
by the way.
smart business.
I wish.
Cool. Suleiman, I really want to hear from your standpoint. You're head of the Discourse teams. You guys are known for your small gang, fantastic piloting. What has your experience been in seeing EVE NT Collides come up and become kind of taking over from maybe the SEL or the NEO in the tournament scene as being the tournament that happens around the year when the AT isn't on? What's your opinion on the format and the teams involved in the standard of play?
I think because all the teams were invited this season, at least, were invited or participated in previous iterations of this format. I think the standard's actually very high. It's probably the same sort of standard you'd get in the last weekend of the Alliance tournament, where it's down to just a small number of teams who have all won multiple matches to get there. I think the format's quite accessible. It's a 5 versus 5 format. So if you have 5 guys, you can have quite a good team. Obviously, having a few more would help in terms of being able to do everything internally, internal practices and stuff. But it's quite a accessible format, and I'm quite interested to see what happens once it opens up a bit wider. I know Fight Club is quite a lot more accessible than Collides, but I believe the plans for next season are a bit more accessible to the general EVE tournament or general EVE community.
Awesome. Speaking about tournament history and tournament development, we have to talk to the Fozziness himself, especially after his presentation, things that Apophany is too young to have experienced. What would you say is your favorite Alliance tournament moment, Fozzy, from since AT1? Like, what's your favorite memory, either experience flying or experience watching, or from the dev side? Like, what kind of moment sums up the AT to you?
Oh, for me, I'm very biased, but my favorite moment has to be when I first won an AT. Getting to go into the finals with a setup that I had played a big part in putting together, and all the stress around that, and getting that victory. There's no feeling quite like it. It's probably my favorite gaming memory period.
Which AT was that?
That would have been 8, I believe. Yeah, that was 8.
Awesome. So we do have the teams landing on the field. We are ready for our 4th match of the day here at EVE NT Collide. So let's quickly go down with the predictions. Fozzy, who do you think is going to win this? Is VOLTA going to close it out, or are Warlords going to continue the comeback?
I'm going to go with VOLTA.
Larkin?
I too am going to go with VOLTA.
Sully?
I'm going to go with VOLTA, but just partly because I know what's on grid. But this should be a very good match.
Chesser?
Warlords.
Elise?
I think we're going game 5, the classic. So
Gursky?
Warlords win.
VOLTA, easy.
Rain?
Warlords.
Okay, let's do it.
Welcome back to Game 4, everybody. This is Elise Randolph. I am joined by Rain Chocolates. We've got some pretty great match right now. Really fun teams on the field. VOLTA are taking, again, their Sleipnir Double Svipple Scimitar Jaguar team. And Rain, why don't you tell me what Warlords are bringing out?
So Warlords are bringing out the Damnation, the Oneros, 2 Confessors, and the Daredevil again.
All right, and so every match this entire series, they've warped in from the same beacons at the same ranges, so they're 180 degrees away from each other. So they know in a perfectly straight line, so they know exactly the ranges that they want. None of this like sideways kiting sort of business, just full on mono hit first sort of stuff.
Yep, and the match has started, and if you notice, the Damnation and the Daredevil are slightly closer on the Warlord side, so they are focusing now on the Svipple that is headed in.
All right, yeah, and as you mentioned, the VOLTA team is actually heading first into the Warlords team. Svipple is kind of going around back. He's trying to grab Planet 6's Oneros, it looks like, but Warlords spotting this out and trying to like web him off.
Yeah, it looks like two T3 Desis just fighting at each other. We got reps coming in from the Oneros, but no one's really taking any damage besides some shield damage from the Daredevil.
All right, so yeah, tell me about this Daredevil. What role is it going to play in this thing as it takes some damage right now?
Well, the Daredevil's has really good web, so he's probably gonna have to go in, web someone down, so their Damnation can apply deeps. But he's taking lots of damage. It looks like he's being primaried.
All right, yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's see, Planet 6's Oneros, however, for the Warlords team, is in a really great position. He's standing all the way in the back, as is Starfleet Commander. So the Logis are not being attacked at all. So it's just like DPS versus DPS right now. Right in the middle of the field, too.
Exactly, and both of the reps are landing. It doesn't seem like anyone's in too much danger, except maybe that Daredevil. But then again, I don't expect him to be very tanky at all.
Oh my god, this Daredevil is actually going down pretty low. Let's see if Planet 6 can get reps on him fast enough.
He even has like armor rep bots on him too. Oh, that wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. You called it the Daredevil's first blood, which is incredibly valuable for this team. They kind of wanted that Daredevil to pin down a Logi.
Yeah,
oh my
exactly.
God.
This Confessor is dropping really fast as well. It doesn't seem like the Oneros can give him reps.
Oh, he bounced back up. All right, he's in half structure, bouncing back up. It looks like the Oneros might be trying to save him. Meanwhile, Svipple is just kind of for the VOLTA team is just sitting kind of perfectly fine. Both Logis like being put to the test right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a Logi game. See how fast you can apply deeps and see how good the Logi can switch targets and rep people up. Because now they switched to Brainstraw on the other Confessor.
Oh my goodness, Brainstraw is dropping really low on too. As a Logi, Brainstraw died!
Wasn't enough.
As a Logi pilot yourself, what sort of would you prefer, like a Scimitar or an Neros? Like, do you prefer shield or armor?
I definitely prefer shield, but I think in this situation, probably armor, because you can at least see when people start. You can have that little bit of buffer, but it's obviously not playing out too well for Planet 6 because they lost their other Confessor.
Another Confessor down. Oh my goodness, VOLTA is just completely crushing with this Sleipnir team. Like,
yeah,
they got the matchup that they wanted, and the funny part is, like, Planet 6, the Logi pilot for the Warlords team, is actually sitting right next to Starfleet Commander, the Logi pilot for the VOLTA team. So the Logi pilots are just kind of like chilling out together, or at least they were for a while.
That's kind of cute. Well, right now,
just holding hands a little bit.
Well, yeah, the Damnation and the Sleipnir are sitting right on top of each other and just shooting each other in the face.
Nice, slug rest. At least they're trying. It looks like Planet 6 is the edge of the. Maybe he's gonna like sit on the edge and then just juke everyone, and everyone's gonna fly out, and then he's gonna come and win the game for his entire team. Or at least maybe that was the plan before he got tackled by the Svipple. So maybe not now anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if Oneros can hold up to Zvipples, and the Damnation's taking lots of damage now. Almost half armor.
Oh my goodness, Volta are doing it. The
Oh,
high altitude
no.
training in Thera, as Gorski was mentioning, is perfect preparation for this.
This poor Oneros is definitely dying. To
Well,
these two
he's doing his best to live. Meanwhile, his Damnation buddy is also dying, and he cannot rep him at
Yeah,
all.
and they are not applying any damage at all of this to like anyone. To the Sleipnir, to the Zvipples.
Oh my goodness. So are you surprised by how fast these Confessors and this Daredevils drop? Like in the beginning, it looked like nothing was really going to go down. It was just a lot of positioning. And then 3 ships just melted in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, they played that really well. I don't know if they were holding back on the DPS or if they just got some really good shots off. And the Oneros is down. May he rip.
All right, rip for the Oneros. He tanked pretty well. Planet 6
Now-
had a really hard series this game. Like, Volta were all on him every single
Yep.
match.
The Damnation follows shortly after, just sitting on top of the Sleipnir. Volta completely wiped the field. Holy cow.
All right, wow. That was amazing.
Guess we'll send it back to Apothny.
The new high-performance Rig 500 headset from Plantronics is designed to match the skills of an aspiring esport player with the gear they need to win. The new modular system gives you the power to adapt, upgrade, and personalize your headset for the task at hand. The Rig 500 series of gaming headsets are engineered to deliver the perfect combination of durable lightweight comfort in an immersive audio environment. 7.1 surround sound and 24-bit audio provide a stunning 360-degree sound field with directional audio. 40mm drivers with low-frequency resonators provide crisp highs and boosted bass. Clear voice noise-canceling technology provides clear communication to your teammates. From the headset company that equips the pros, the 500 series was crafted to meet the needs of esports and competitive players around the world. The new Rig 500 series of headsets from Plantronics. Respect the training. Reactions win.
VOLTA beating Warlords of the Deep, going 3-1 to face the Tuskers in the finals. Warlords sadly dropping down to face Hard Knocks in the fourth place match, I believe. What an incredible series of games. That final match really, I don't want to say one-sided, but it was a very clear victory there. VOLTA kind of struggling in the third match, but really bringing back that solid performance in the fourth to take the series. I'd really love to hear, Sully, what are your thoughts now that you have to face VOLTA in the finals?
They definitely weren't the team I was expecting to face in the finals, but obviously they did really well in this match and totally deserve the taking the series. I think they showed quite a few sort of tried and tested setups, but flew them a bit differently than the teams they got the setups from, and I think it came out where Warlords seemed a bit on the back foot the entire series.
Awesome. We are very lucky to be joined by Brainstraw and Starfleet Commander, captains of their respective teams, Warlords and VOLTA. First question I'd like to ask you guys is, you're both obviously exceptionally experienced tournament pilots. You know, you can look at the setups each team brought and you kind of know what they do. I would like to hear, on the other hand, what surprised you about the other teams in terms of maybe what setups they chose to begin with, or how they flew them, or any little fitting quibbles, anything like that. So let's start with Brainstraw. What surprised you from VOLTA this series?
When we fought the TFIs, because actually today before our match we tested the Amar rush that we brought versus the TFIs, and the way we played it, we had beat it in our practice. But that was because the Inquisitors were 1-man, not 10-man, and our Confessors were Scram Web Fit. But the Inquisitors were 10-man, so we weren't able to kill them quickly, because how we played it was we just split damage, so an Inquisitor or the Hyena dies. But Starfleet's Inquisitor was able to tank long enough. And then we ended up just getting snowballed on, so that was surprising us. Most of the ships were 10-man, which was pretty surprising to us.
Starfleet Commander, what surprised you about the Warlord setups, if anything?
Just some fittings, like dual rep Daenerys with dual prop. It's not common, in my opinion. I don't really see that much. It's interesting. I would say, I mean, the setups, that's what I liked about this matchup, is the setups are quite different. The ones that we've submitted and the ones that they submitted, they're like, you know, I knew it'd get a bit harder once the Typhoon and Onyx were used up, and it would be a bit more, you know, we'd probably lose one, because the setups there from there on are quite, I wouldn't say balanced, but they're quite in. Brain would sort of, you know, like, they're sort of even, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, it could go either way. It comes down to sort of piloting at a level, and fits, and different fits, and variations of different fits, tailoring for setups and stuff. But there is actually, apart from for this match, which was me and Brain did, and he's lost, so he now needs to recruit Scanner. Needs to happen.
Oh yeah, the bet was if we had beat them, then VOLTA would have to move out of Thera, but if we had lost, then we'd have to recruit Scanner, and we lost. So I accept my defeat.
It was a good match.
Okay then.
It was good.
So
games.
Well played,
when
VOLTA, well played.
people go to YouTube to watch the notes, to watch these VODs again, are there any moments that you felt from the piloting standpoint, from the captain standpoint, that people should really be looking at for? Or any moments in any of the matches, or any matches overall that you thought were just like really good example of certain aspects of tournament play? Or just any favourite moments that you really enjoyed flying and playing in? Starting again with Brainstraw.
I think when we brought the Vindicators versus the Sleipnir rush, when the Sleipnir had broken free from our crew war, because I was supposed to screen both of the Steeples, and he was supposed to get the Sleipnir, but he lost tackle, he said, and so I had to switch my webs off to tackle the Sleipnir in time for him to get back on, so they didn't get our Guardian. But then we'd also gotten lucky with the jams, because our Blackbird had jammed him, and then we were able to reapply webs to our respective targets. But it got pretty scary for a moment, because I think the Sleipnir got pretty close to our Guardian at one point.
Yeah, he did get really close, like very close, and then I think then you, like you said, you got him, kept him away. I can't obviously speak for other members in my team. You might want to talk to Mystical. He like nearly had a heart attack when he nearly got popped in the Maulus. So he nearly like died in real life apparently. But I'd say I was intense flying the Inquisitor in that match, in the 5-3 match, Brain. Oh, on the edge of death, which was quite.
That was some dank Inquisitor piloting though. That both of you guys were like really kicking it over there in the corner.
I know, right? I'm just looking. Where the confessors? Where are they? Like, so I can get proper transversal up properly. And in the end, I did die, but I think the amount of time that it took, I survived an entire reload cycle for the Fiends because we didn't kill the nearest in the first reload. Survived long enough to trade. I think we died at the same time. I think so. Can't remember. I think.
Yeah, I remember that you died, and then our Logi pilot had said that he blew up, and then it just went from there.
Yeah, it was
those
some...
Tenement Inquisitors are not easy to fly either. Like,
Oh,
it might
I was
look
just
like they
like-
were easy, but that was some like incredible stuff.
I kind of called it like halfway through. Like when I realized that he wasn't dying, I was like, "Wow, they must be Tenement because he's still going like 1k a second." I was like, "This sucks really bad."
It's one of those ships where, like, double click somewhere wrong and it would take 8 seconds to rectify where you've gone, if you know what I mean. It takes so long to turn around, but like once you get into a straight line, it's all good. But it's just, you know, it's really hard because most other ships that are shooting you are turn faster than you, have higher inertia, and can move and position faster than you. So it's just so difficult to like react. But you know,
Awesome. So, Fozzie, Larkin, thank you guys so much for giving of your time on the weekends to come in and, you know, do your job even on the weekends. Well, it's not even your job, you're just really volunteering to do this. Thank you so much for coming and helping us run the battle arena. I'm sure everybody on the stream and all the commentators, all the staff, really thankful for you guys coming. How do you guys feel about EVE NT as an addition to the tournament scene of EVE Online?
I think it's really great that you guys are doing this. Having groups of players that are willing to put in all this effort, like we volunteer for it too, but we're just a tiny chunk of it, right? You guys put all this stuff together, you guys organize it, take the initiative. It's amazing, and that's one of the things that really makes EVE great, having people that are creating events, creating content, doing cool things that other people can have fun watching and participating in. It's really amazing.
Larkin, anything to add?
Everything that Fuzzy said, I am just gonna. I couldn't have said it nearly as eloquently as he did.
Awesome. So with that, hand it back to Nash to wrap up tonight's show.
Thank you very much, Sir Upney. I just get the easy job. I just get to thank everybody, and I will start with CCP. So yeah, big, massive thanks to both CCP Larkin for coming along tonight. Obviously CCP Fuzzy, who's becoming a little bit of a regular on our shows, and thank you so much for bringing the special tools tonight, which really make a massive difference. It's one of the things that really we can't do ourselves, which, as you can tell, but obviously the boundaries that we suffered earlier in the match just means that we can continue playing, which is great. So thank you very much. We do have CCP Fuzzy scheduled for the finals, which are actually on the 1st of May, which will be the Tuskers versus We Form VOLTA. Are you still going to be joining us for that one,
Yep,
Mr. Fuzzy?
I'll be there.
That would be absolutely awesome. Actually, we've got you scheduled to be commentating. I love your commentating, so I'm really looking forward to that. And just before that, so the 1st of May is obviously just after FanFest. So just after FanFest, we'll be having the finals of this league, but the very next match is for 3rd and 4th place, and should be an incredible match as well. So we've got Hard Knocks, who've done really well in this league, versus the Warlords. So again, an incredible matchup. A couple of really good teams that we've got left in the last couple of matches. So make sure you tune in for those. So on the 3rd of April, Hard Knocks versus Warlords, and the 1st of May we have Tuskers versus We Form VOLTA. And make sure that you check us out on our other league as well, which is EVE NT Fight Club, which is at the end of this month, the 27th. And with that, I'll do a quick thank you for all the staff. So I'll start with Apotheny, who was your host this evening, Sutonia, who slogged away in the background, getting the teams on grid and producing the show, and then we have some tech staff and our commentators as well, straight from the top. Dwygon Omer, we have Solomon Shower from the Tuskers, Chesser, Elise Randolph, Gorski Carr, Chocolate Rain, and that was it. So with that, and a quick thank you to the sponsors, which are Plantronics, Chill Blast, CCP, and EveBet. I'm wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll see you next time.